Hi friendship. I'm going to try to make a few more steps on this book to catch up. I'm using basic gray magnets today, magnetic discs, and I like these discs because they're pretty strong, they're easy to use, easy to place. Often I will do this at the beginning of the book, but I found the last time I did it at the beginning of the book, I did it too close to the edge, so I've made some X's where I want my magnets to be. I bought these on Amazon. You can use smaller magnets, but I think there's a lot of weight that this box holds up, and I find these are nice and strong and hold up well. So I'm just going to take a moment, and wherever I have an X, I'm going to put a magnet. There's a little tab on here that comes off, and I'm going in the inside edge. Remember, 1/8 of an inch shows, so I'm going to use all the positive sides to start with. Now, even if you take these off and don't remember if it was positive, negative, the magnet will always find its home, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm just going to put them on the corner of each of my covers. And this book will take 12 magnets. So I'm placing 6 of them. And I'm going to take black construction tape by My Creative Spirit and put it on top of the magnets to hold them nicely in place, even though there's adhesive on them. This is the inside of my album. We are going to put the designer paper, I'm using digital paper, on top of it. This is digital paper I purchased from Etsy. I'm just going to punch these out here. Okay, now I'm taking black construction tape, finding my end. It's so thin, sometimes it's hard to find the end. And I'm just cutting a little bit off of this and placing it on top of my magnets. They're adhered down, but this will just give it a little bit of extra hold. Doing this 6 times. You can add more liquid glue if you want to. Remember, I'm still dealing with acrylic already placed on. You can do this before you do your acrylic if you're worried about liquid glue. These steps aren't in any particular order. Okay. Now, one more. This is the cover of my book. Inside. And I want it to go over the bottom of my book and have the magnets attached. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 at a time. I'm going to take another piece of black construction tape, place it upside down, and let my magnet find its home. I'm going to do 2 at a time. That should fit, make it fit well. So the tape is upside down. Put the magnet on home. Now I'm going to take off the adhesive or the adhesive cover on that magnet. Okay. Now I'm going to make this into a book form. Or a box form rather. And when I place this down, those magnets should sit where I want them. Let's see if it worked. This one picked up an extra magnet. These magnets are so silly. Okay. So, the magnets are now on the bottom. So I've got 2 magnets attached. Now I'll do the side magnets. Same exact way. So this is down, this is down. I'll take a piece of black construction tape upside down. These 2 are done. Lay it on top. Put a magnet on top. Let it find its home. One more piece. Upside down. I'm going to push that over a little bit so it has tape all around it. Okay, take off the cover of my magnet, the adhesive cover. So it'll stick right to the next piece of box cover. Now you can put X's where you want these too, but I like the magnet to just find its home. So I'm going to put these 2, let them find its home. And then lift up the side. And when I put it down, it should fit nicely. So I just give it a little rub. When I lift it up, there we go. Secure it a little bit more. We now have 2 sets, 1 more set, the top set. So I take another piece of construction tape. I don't know how I lived before I found this beautiful thin construction tape. Put it upside down. Take a magnet. Let it find its home. Last one. Put the magnet on top of the upright tape. Take off the adhesive covering the sticky part on the magnet. And now my box should be completely magnetized to hold the album shape in place. So I'll put these ones back up. And take these ones and lay them gently down. Rub my edges down. And now the magnets are all in place. So I reopen it and I'm going to start putting on my inside covers. They're all the same size. Of course that one's too long. Let's see, this one's too long. I might have to cut them down. The cover is a little smaller. So there should be 2 for each place. This is my spine. Now these ones I made too long, so we'll work on that. Two spines. Let's see. Okay, so skinny on here, chubbier here. Those are skinny. And I think I made them a little long. So let's cut them off. I want about 1/8 of an inch to show. So I'm going to take a good 1/4 inch off here. Remember, I have already distressed these and I don't want white edges to show. Yes, that looks better. So I took a 1/4 inch off. I'll do a 1/4 inch on all of these ones, all these chubbier ones. And even the side one needs a 1/4 inch. So even though I measured those, I measured incorrectly. Okay, that looks good. Now, because there's magnets on here, you're going to glue right over the magnets. Now, because I'm gluing, I'm just taking a piece of shimmy here and laying it over my acrylic. I don't want any glue to go on my acrylic. All of these pieces could have been adhered earlier. Didn't do that. So, and I'm adding liquid glue to make sure it's really secure. I just don't want the liquid glue to go on my acrylic. I especially want my corners attached. And I'm just using Aleene's tacky glue. And I did decide on one color for all of it, just to make it more cohesive. So I'll quickly add these pieces. Paying particular attention to my corners. And what I don't want is to have too much glue and have it ooze out. I just want extra protection so that it stays in place. I'm going right over those magnets that I put on there. I only put 2 pieces of double-sided tape on these because I am using 2 types of glue. And I'm actually going to do the back cover in a similar paper. I added a pocket page at the end, thanks to one of my students, Eon's suggestion. But she did a big pocket page, I did a small pocket page. But I love the idea of dimension and room for more pictures. The other thing that liquid tape does is the liquid glue gives you a little movability when you place it if you want to straighten it out or reposition it. Okay, so I have 3 sides added here. Now I'll do the side. These are a little wider, so I have 3 pieces of double-sided tape on it. I still watch my corners carefully. Now I have a dry chamois there. Chamois, I don't know what it's called. But you could also have a wet one or a baby wipe nearby if you do get glue on your fingers. I find I just use another finger. But I do have baby wipes over there if I get too sticky. Also, if you just rub it off, it comes off. if you look very carefully at this digital paper, there's actually paw prints and little doggies on this little paisley that I'm using for my main color. It goes well with all the other colors. And as I said before, these steps can almost be done in any order. And since I'm using wet glue, I probably should have done it before I did my acrylic pockets. As long as I'm careful, I'll be all right. I think I will wash my fingers off because I'm... Okay, this is the front of my album. This is the back of my album. And I'm going to take a moment to go ahead and put the back page on before I flip the front. This is my back double pocket page. I took some pictures when I did it. I also have some little lines that are going to go in between. This is to show you there's a little pocket page, and then there's a flip flap here. So it's a double pocket. And since this is the top of my album, I want to make sure it goes in the right direction. I put quite a bit of double-sided tape on the back because this will have more weight in it because there'll be something in the pockets. I want to make sure it is secured well. So I'm just removing the covers of the double-sided tape, and then I'll add more tacky glue and make this my back page. I didn't take the time to burnish all this tape. Sometimes when you don't burnish it, it doesn't hold the adhesive to the paper, so you have to open it in a different spot, making sure the adhesive is stuck to the back. Now the front page has a frame, so you don't need anything on the front page. We've already framed it. Starting at my corners, making sure those adhere well, going between my double-sided tape, and then a few dots over my double-sided tape for movability. Okay, so this will be my back page. I want to make sure my pocket's in the right direction. And again, I left about a 1/4 inch room around it. I see a little bit of tape there that might have to be erased. So there's a nice double pocket for the back of the album. Okay, I'm going to remove the shimmy and put the front covers on now. I'll just flip the whole album over. Checking my size. Let's see if I can get these. Now these ones I also made long and I haven't made them short yet, so let's make these a little shorter by a 1/4 inch. Okay, this one is correct. Correct size. Correct size. So these are all correct size. These are a little long. So I'm going to just put this shimmy or chamois over my acrylic again so I don't get any glue on it. Let's take off 1/4 inch from these. You know, there's an adage about measure twice, cut once. I did not follow that adage very well. I'll add some black to that. Now this is the same width, but I definitely have it the wrong height. So let's just fold this down where I want it to be. Right about there. That looks good. Okay. The sides I just cut off will be white, so just adding a little color to the edge. Okay, I'm all ready to adhere these down. I'll start with the spine. Now the spine might have additional decoration later. I might put words or a date. Something like that. Again, I just make sure there's some liquid adhesive in the corners and between where I have the double-sided tape. This is my outside spine. I know it's boring watching somebody else glue and tape and such, but feel free to just do this right along with me, excuse me, and just stop the tape if I go faster than you do, or advance the tape if I go slower than you do. It's not a race, but if you have all the pieces ready and double measured, which I did not, they go on pretty quickly. Now the glue does dry clear if you do make a mistake like I just did and get it on the black. Now all the pages are different colors, but I find by making my outside box similar, or at least very coordinating, it doesn't make it too busy when you have many colors. I'm going right over my magnets here. Now this is the back of my album. You can decorate that with paper. I find that since the back of the album gets handled a lot, I usually just leave it black. But it's up to you if you want to add paper. I would recommend a little bit dark paper if you do, to help with the fingerprints and all. But everyone has different audiences, and since I have 10 grandchildren, my audiences don't always have the cleanest hands. So I try to keep it client friendly so I won't worry or fuss about my albums getting fingerprints on them. Okay, there's the back of my album. See just a little wrinkle in my tape, so I'm just smoothing it out with a edger here. My corners between my double-sided tape and a little bit over my double-sided tape. I see some tape coming over there. some glue. I'm just gonna, it's so much, I'm just gonna wipe it off with a baby wipe. Two more paces, and maybe we'll put the pockets on. Now, I've made other videos about how to do this, but I thought since this was the project we were all working on together, seeing it done once more will help you gel your album in place. What's sort of fun when you make more than one of the same album is you get to be creative in your own way, and you definitely find things that work better than my way. Eon made not pocket pages, but nice thick pages by adding construction tape all around the end of her pages. And it looks very finished, and the pages are thicker, and it will hold up really well. So you don't have to have pocket pages like I chose. It's all up to what you're putting in your album. Remember that this art we're doing is to highlight our photos, but really the star is going to be your photographs that you want to cherish. Okay, I now have the cover pages all in place. So I'm going to flip it back to its belly. Okay, and I'll put it facing you so you can see it well. I touched it with my gluey fingers. I have a little bit of glue there. Now the box is made, and I don't have my pages in. So why don't we take a moment and put our pages in. I have them ready to go, I think. And I like to start from the back. So I'm just going to make sure pages are in the right direction and backwards. So this is the front of my album. Just in case, I'm putting a chamois on top of the acrylic. And I have a pocket page here, smooth page here, double pocket page. This is actually flat. I just ran out of some paper color, so I pieced some paper there. Double pocket page, single pocket page. My last page is flat, but just pieced. Every single one of these pages are pocket pages. So I have on my double hinges, which is a 1/2 inch scored with another 1/2 inch, I have 2 pieces of double-sided tape. And my pocket page is going to go over that double-sided tape. But before I put that on, I'm going to open up my page and put a line of liquid glue near the bottom of one page, like so. And I'm going to gently put the top down on top of it and smooth it out. And now, when I open up that pocket, sure, it has glue on both sides. Now I've angled these pages, so when I put these on, up to the first score line, not over the score line, it'll go into the pocket page easily. But before I press it down, I'm going to make sure that it looks lined up in my book so that the page is straight. Your first page is the most important. So all I'm doing here is burnishing it along the hinge. And if that first page is straight, well, it's wet, get it straight. You can follow your next pages on top of it. So I already have my pages lined up. So I'll just take a piece of a row of liquid glue on the inside page, on the bottom. Again, we don't want spill out, so you don't want it too thick. If you do, wipe it off. My baby wipe here. Okay. So then I open up the page. Oh, I forgot to take off the double-sided tape. I usually start by taking off the double-sided tape. I'm going to lay my page down. Might have to re-glue it if it dries out there. So I'm removing both sides of my double-sided tape on page number 5 or signature 5. Sliding the pocket over the hinge to right before the score line. Before I push it down, just lining it up with the page before it so it lines up straight. Once it's straight, feel free to burnish it. Okay, we've got 2 of 6 on. We do the same thing again. This is going here, so my glue will go here. Just going to put that so I know where the glue goes. I'm going to take off the tape first. My pocket goes near the bottom. The other one is just pieced, so it could really go either direction, but the pocket really should go in one direction. Glue on one side, gently press it together so it goes on both sides. Open it up, put it over the hinge to the first score line. Now I made these pages in another video, but remember they're a little thick because they have pockets and they have construction tape on it and such like, so you want to make sure the whole thing goes over that hinge. There we go. And with it angled, it usually goes pretty well. Okay, I got that on. Let's make sure it's straight before I burnish it. Looks lined up, so I'll burnish it. Remember, it only goes to the first score line. Okay, 3 of 6. Now we're doing 4 of 6. Taking off my double-sided tape. Now you don't have to have all pocket pages. You might choose some straight pages. And in that case, you only have one piece of adhesive on your double hinge. And you also can't decorate both sides at the same time. We went through that when we were making the pages. But if you have any questions, refer to that video. I'll link that up for you. Okay, we're going to the first score line again. Sliding the pocket over that hinge. So the hinge goes right inside the pocket. There we go. Before I burnish it, just making sure it looks lined up. And then I press it down so that both glues adhere nicely. And if you see any ooze and glue, just wipe it off with a baby wipe or a shimmy. Okay, I'm doing it again. I have 2 more pages to go. This puppy book is going to be ready for golden doodle puppies before I know it. We might get a little Shih Tzu in there too. Whoop. I was going to put this right on top of the glue, and that is another way you can do it. But I like opening up my pockets, putting one line of glue at the bottom of the fold or bottom of the hole. Gently placing that together so there's glue on both sides. Make sure I got it the right direction. Put it over my double hinge to the first score line. Now I'll be honest with you, this is when my hands always shake. I'm always worried about getting it straight and such. But if you lined up the first one, the others should line up just right. Once you have it lined up, burnish it, both sides. The glue is stuck. And then we have our last page, which is our first page. This looks a little crooked. I've got to make sure that's straight. Looks pretty good. Okay, just removing my covers over my adhesive. Even though I have a trash can right by my desk, a lot of that ends up on the floor. So I just pick it up later rather than do it as I go. Okay, last one. Let's see. Yep, the front page is just flat to go under the golden doodle sign on my acrylic pocket. I place this together so the glue goes on both sides. Open it up. Go over the first part of the hinge to the first score line. Right to the score, but not over the score. Make sure it's straight before you burnish it. There we go. We have 6 pages on this album. So now they're all ready to go. Some have pockets in the front, some don't. This is just flat. We can use flip flaps or our special ta-da card that we'll be making next week or after Thanksgiving. But we have all our pages in now. I think I'm going to stop, but I'm going to tell you what's coming in our next video because this is getting a little long. So I'm removing my chamois because this doesn't have any wet glue on it. When I fold the book together, the magnets are on there now, so it should connect it well. There we go. There's our box. Box album, almost ready to go. But now it needs some more decoration and room for more photos. So what I have done is I've I've cut 6 pages of 5.5 by 7-inch paper. And this paper, it's wet now, so I'm not going to go all the way down. This paper is going to slide into the pockets. It did go all the way down. Let's hope it doesn't catch. But I'm going to decorate the paper with a corresponding footprint, or paw print in this case, and little teeny tabs so that they will go inside the pages easily. That's our next step, is to make some decoration on our photo pages and add tabs. In addition to that, I've cut some little teeny 3/8 inch strips, and these little 3/8 inch strips will go on some of the score lines. So like here, I tried to get all different colors when I cut them out. Yeah, that looks okay. I'm just going to put it on the middle one. But this is just another way of decorating your book. When there's so many lines of score lines, it can get a little bit too black. So I don't want it to be too black. So I'm going to add some strips between each of the pockets. Some I put tape on and some I didn't yet. So this is light, so I might add a light color there. But I'll do that when I put the tabs on. And I think that's all I'm going to do for today. But there's our box with 6 pages in it. So have fun adding your pages, and remember there's more detailed videos on Elaine's Willing Hands YouTube or my friendship page if you want to see it a little bit more exacting. But your next step is to cut 5.5 by 7-inch inserts, which will fit 2 4x6 photos on it, and that'll look really pretty as we add this to our box. So God bless. I'll see you Thursday at class, and we can talk about where you're at on your box album. Have a great day.